should The Rock sit at the head of the table?
On the January 1st episode of Monday Night Raw, The Rock came out and dropped an absolute bombshell. He finally acknowledged the existence of Roman Reigns when he said he wants to sit at the head of the table. For around 4 years, the match between Roman Reigns and The Rock has been teased year after year. WrestleMania 36, WrestleMania 37, 38, 39, and it never happened. It never even came close, except for last year when The Rock came out and he said that the match was almost set for WrestleMania 39, but for whatever reason, it didn't take place.
WrestleMania with Roman Reigns, SoFi Stadium, that was locked.
What?
We were.
No way.
We were doing it.
I mean, it felt like that match was going to happen. I went to WrestleMania for that match. Now, it was still a great WrestleMania, but it just made perfect sense to have The Rock versus Roman Reigns headline WrestleMania in Hollywood of all places. I truly believe that if WrestleMania 37 would have still taken place in Hollywood like it was supposed to originally, that match would have happened then. And it wouldn't have been nearly as big as it would be now because Roman Reigns at that time was still doing that big dog character pre-pandemic, and The Rock versus that version of Roman Reigns, that would still be kind of interesting, but the Tribal Chief character and the storyline behind the Tribal Chief, it just makes way more sense and it's way more interesting. Roman Reigns is on a whole nother level than he was back then. So now, doing this match makes perfect sense. But the question is, when and where does this match happen? Quick side note, I made this commentary before this news came out, and if Roman Reigns does not appear at the Chamber, I swear to God. Recent reports have suggested that this match will take place at the Elimination Chamber, and in my opinion, this is the best choice. Yeah, I know, The Rock versus Roman Reigns is probably the biggest match you can possibly do. It's the biggest money-making match, the most hyped-up match. And usually, you would want to do the biggest possible match at the biggest stage possible, and that is WrestleMania, right? But this year's Chamber is in a humongous stadium. It is going to have around 60 to 70,000 people filled up to the top. It's going to be a WrestleMania-like environment. It's still going to feel like a humongous deal. And no, the Chamber is not a big four pay-per-view, so I understand why people are saying that that's so random to have this match at. But like I said, the environment is going to feel humongous. It's going to feel like WrestleMania. So from that point, there's no loss. Now, the only issue that I see is that the WWE is obviously biggest in America, and this pay-per-view is taking place in Australia, which means for American fans, we have to wake up really, really early in the morning to see one of the biggest matches over the last decade. And that's kind of unfortunate for us, but we have to understand that fans from other places have dealt with the same issue like every single week for every show for like forever. And no, we're not used to that, but let's be honest. A match that big, we are going to wake up that early. We are going to get up to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns at 3 in the morning, at 4 in the morning, however early it is. Another reason why this match taking place at the Chamber is much better than it taking place at WrestleMania is because the conclusion of this match is pretty much obvious. I think that we all can assume that Roman Reigns is winning. He is not going to lose that belt. The match is going to happen at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. So Cody fans, you have nothing to worry about. I think this same night, Cody Rhodes is going to be the one to win the Chamber. I don't think he's winning the Royal Rumble this year because I believe that spot is reserved for CM Punk. So with that said, Roman Reigns goes on to beat The Rock at the Chamber. I don't know how good the match is going to be. Oh yeah, and that's another thing. We don't know how good this match is going to be. You want the best possible match to be the main event of WrestleMania. And like I said, I know that this is a big stadium show and it's still going to be a big deal. But way more eyes are going to be on WrestleMania. And you don't want to have a stinker of a main event of WrestleMania. You just don't want that. And we don't know what kind of shape The Rock is in. I mean, on Raw, he did that one move and he looked like he was gassed. It's been, 11 years since he had a real wrestling match? He's, in his 50s? Like, we don't know what kind of ring shape he's in. So if this match ends up being a stinker, well, guess what? It didn't happen at WrestleMania, so it ain't that bad, right? But either way, if the match is good or bad or mid or whatever, having Roman Reigns beat The Rock and then having Cody Rhodes take that title off of Roman at the next pay-per-view will make Cody look a million times better. I mean, just think about it. Cody Rhodes, in this case, will be the man that beat the man that beat The Rock. It doesn't need to happen that way, but it definitely helps. But also, what having this big of a match at a quote-unquote B-level pay-per-view does, adds on to what the WWE has been doing over the course of the last couple of years for these type of shows. Last year, we saw them go to Puerto Rico for Backlash and London for Money in the Bank, and what people regard as two of the best pay-per-views of the year. The crowds were hot, they made a lot of money. We got that banger of a match with Bad Bunny, and that amazing entrance that is replayed on Twitter way too much. But having these big moments and big matches happen outside of the US is good for them, it's good for the fans, it's good for everybody. Okay, so WrestleMania 40. This makes a lot of sense. I don't think it's the best choice, but it does make a ton of sense. Like I said, it's the biggest match on the biggest stage. It'll probably be the biggest WrestleMania main event in over a decade, probably since The Rock vs. John Cena Part 2. But regardless of where this match happens, I still say that the result of this match is a foregone conclusion with Roman Reigns winning, because there is no chance in hell that The Rock is beating Roman Reigns, like I said before. But I wouldn't personally complain about this match taking place at WrestleMania 40. But there's just a way more exciting main event just waiting right there for us, which is the rematch of WrestleMania 39. Because although we assume Cody Rhodes will win that match because, duh, it's still not a foregone conclusion. Because going into last year, it felt like it was obvious that Cody was winning and then he didn't. So there's no foregone conclusion with that match, but Rock and Roman, that's a foregone conclusion. And that just isn't that great for a WrestleMania main event. At least not when there's just a way better match and storyline just right there. Dwayne is not getting any younger. Year by year, Roman Reigns is becoming more of a part-timer. The Rock on his show Young Rock even said that the only way a match this big happens is if it happens in the main event of WrestleMania. And that was over a year ago. Things change, people change their minds, but if that's how he feels, then you can't argue with him. It's the biggest match. You do it at WrestleMania. Not the best match, but it is the biggest. It draws in the most money. It does great for a company. And who knows, I think that this is most likely going to be The Rock's last match. So of course he would rather go out at WrestleMania than a random B-level show at 3 a.m. So in these specific cases, you just do the match at WrestleMania, and Cody, I don't know what that means for Cody Rhodes, but he'll finish his story another day, maybe at WrestleMania 41 or a Madison Square Garden show. There's SummerSlam, there's other options. He doesn't have to be at WrestleMania. But another idea I've seen or heard thrown out there is to save The Rock versus Roman Reigns for WrestleMania 41 and have a 1-year build. So you do Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania 40, and somehow, some way, The Rock interferes, or maybe he comes out at the end of the match. Whatever you do, The Rock is partially the reason why Roman loses that title, and that angers Roman. So maybe the next night on Raw or on SmackDown, they start their 1-year build to WrestleMania 41. I wouldn't really mind that, because The Rock versus Roman Reigns will be way more interesting if there's no title involved, because the only reason why I've said it's a foregone conclusion is because The Rock is not going to be the one that ends this 1,000 plus day title reign. But if there's no title on the line, then either man can win. And the less predictable Rock versus Roman match is way more interesting. Now it just becomes about the title of Tribal Chief, who sits at the head of the table like The Rock said on Raw. And now we have a similar situation to WrestleMania 28 with The Rock versus John Cena, where we don't know who's going to win because there's no title on the line. They're both part-timers. Either man can win, either man can lose, and no one gets hurt. Okay, those are my thoughts and opinions. Those are the only ways I see this match happening. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, where do you think this match is going to happen, if it happens at all? Do you think The Rock is just talking out of his butt? Do you think this match is going to happen, or is The Rock just trying to get everybody hyped up again, just for us to wonder for years and years if it's going to happen until they're both old and gray and it's too late and it never happens? But let me know your fantasy booking, or how do you think the next few months are going to go. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And you guys, stay smooth.